Hello, everyone. Wednesday was a solid stock market session despite the pullback. The Dow Jones Industrial Average led us to the downside, but as you can see, volume was well below average. And if we look at the moving averages, we can see that while we're below the 5-day moving average, we're still above the 10-day moving average. So right now, this is just down day one. We are a bit extended. However, we're not completely overbought on this market yet. The Dow Jones Industrial Average has been a laggard since the rally started to pick up steam at the end of May. So overall, solid session. There's not much I can find terribly upsetting about it. S&P 500 also pulled back on lower volume. The Russell 2000 pulled back on lower volume, and you can see its MACD TSV is not overbought yet, so there's nothing that tells me that it can be more than a few days. The NASDAQ, on the other hand, is a little overbought short term. So if we back and fill here, see the Russell or Dow Jones retake the lead, it won't be surprising. But all that this might do is just build a handle before a breakout. Overall, I have a lot of strong chart patterns, and we'll look at more of them today. There just continues to be tons of stocks moving out there. And you see the NASDAQ 100 overbought, MACD, TSV getting up there, but still barely pulling back. So out there tonight, you got data actually making a bottoming kind of pocket pivot point signal off the 50-day moving average on heavier volume. So there's a stock that looks like it's also bottoming. Then I had Zillow breakout. Unfortunately, I'm not a huge fan of the volume. And the MACD on the bottom, the blue line, is actually not moving higher. So because of that, and because this stock is extremely choppy, I don't know how anybody played this, but I know people did. I know people played it. I don't know how in the hell they held it from March to June. But if somehow you did, congratulations, because Zillow looks like it wants to go higher, and this is a breakout. It's just that it seems a little short for me. I wish the base was a little bit longer, so I'm going to pass. Also, Netisse looks like it's building a nice round cut pattern as it's starting to build up off its right side with tons of pocket pivot point buy signals, 1, 2, 3, 4 recently. So Netisse might be one to watch. Montage Technology Group, big gap up. If it would have closed higher than where it opened, sure, I would have taken a poke. But it closed lower than where it opened, so I'm hoping, I'm really not hoping, but if it does, it would be nice. That Mont moves sideways here, bounces off 50-day moving average on heavier volume, and I can get long. I don't always get what I want, clearly, so we'll see. ZU, pocket pivot point bottoming pivot signal off the 10-day moving average, volume well above average, so there's another consideration for a long. Probably my favorite tonight is CRR, bouncing off the 50-day moving average, producing a pocket pivot point buy signal. MACD and TSV appear that they want to start taking off now, so I got my technical indicators confirming, and the price action of this stock is super tight. However, I'm going to go ahead and pass. I'll probably regret it. I already have a lot of oil stocks, and I'm long already, so I have a decent position in oil stocks. I don't feel like I need to add. Hopefully I'm incorrect. What I am going to add today, I only have 5% capital, and I got 2 new longs, so I'm going to split them up. Lloyd's Banking Group is producing back-to-back pocket pivot point buy signals after not producing any pocket pivot point sell signals following the April lows. So it's its 4th pocket pivot point buy signal. Interest rates are now 0.10% to try to spur and loans being given out by the banks in Europe. So, you know, it's a pretty nice surge. It's a technical pattern. The earnings aren't really there. The macro story is there on the European side with negative interest rates. But, you know, besides that, there isn't much else going on here. The only good news is if we're wrong, we don't risk much more than 2%. So, you know, I like that trade. I like this technical pattern. We'll see if it works. It isn't the greatest thing out there, but, you know, longer term chart is very bullish for Lloyd's. I don't see why it can't get back up to its 2008 highs if, you know, economic policy favors the big banks. So Lloyd's, I want to get it long a little bit of bank stock. Now on that end, let's get a little speculative stock in here. BPTH is bouncing off the 20-day moving average on extremely heavy volume. That follows the previous 2 pocket pivot point buy signals off the 50 and 200-day moving average on strong volume. So today's move is like a confirmation move. I want to get a little bit of beta again. You know, that's why I picked up ARWR, GWPH, WUBA, Facebook. So BPTH will be added to that to see if I can't get some Momo. You can see with the long-term chart, it's extremely bullish off the lows. The base appears to be long enough and tight enough. Really tight action lately. However, I've been disappointed before, so we'll see if that happens again. But overall, a very, very nice technical long-term pattern on this one also. 2.5% in each position. 3 sells tonight. ENI closing below the 20-day moving average without producing any significant gains. So ENI, that's got to be a 25% sell just so we can raise cash to put into something else in case we get an incredible signal later on. And the same with AAL. The group move today was pretty weak. Love and DAL, you can see confirmation. It's only closing below the 5-day moving average, so why am I selling 20%? Well, I've already sold half of this off whenever it closed below the open of the signal date right after the signal date 3 days later, so I don't have a big position left anyway. And the intraday chart looks absolutely terrible. It looks like the past 3 days they are distributing the stock heavily, so I don't want to wait till close below the 10-day moving average. That might erase all of my gains, so I'm going to take 20% off here just to raise some capital to put into possibly a better, stronger looking technical pattern in a stock with stronger fundamentals, even though American Airlines has very strong fundamentals. You never know. Could be another WUBA out there. AT&M is a full sell. It is not, I don't think, closing below the 50-day moving average. It's closing right on it. The intraday chart is quite ugly. There was some major activity midday, most of it on downtick, so I'm out. I don't care anymore. This was a very nice technical pattern here. The base was a little short. Still, I wanted to, I had hope that the base was go ahead and break out. I mean, this is a pretty nice chart pattern. What's the biggest problem with this one? The volume surge on the day I went long. The volume surge was only slightly above average. Wasn't anything spectacular. So there's really not much to be shocked about this one not working. It was to be expected. It's going to happen. All right, everyone. I'll see you tomorrow. Aloha.